first time that I visited, it was a bit of a shock, really, to be honest. I have memories from my town, my home, my school. I was 7 years old in 1974, and it's a very strange situation to be trying to reconnect the threads of a childhood interrupted.
A childhood interrupted when, 40 years ago, George Lordos and his family fled from their home in Famagusta in northern Cyprus. Today, he takes us to see his home, which is behind the barbed wire and part of the ghost town of Varosha. Even 40 years on, George remembers certain details.
A couple of days ago, we were talking about the home where I was born, and he drew for me, because my father is an architect, he just took out pen and paper, a small piece of paper, and he drew the whole plan of the house. As soon as he drew the stairs, the winding stairs going up to the first floor of the house, and the bedroom opposite the stairs, I said, "That's it. This is my bedroom." He said, "That's right. You got it."
Since the borders were opened 11 years ago, George has come to visit his childhood home. But like the 15,000 residents who left here in 1974, George can only look beyond the barbed wire to a place he says is a symbol of the division of Cyprus, but now maybe also a solution. In July of 1974, the Turkish army landed in the north of Cyprus. While the Greek Cypriots called it an invasion, Turkey claimed it was to protect Turkish Cypriots from a coup d'etat aimed at uniting Cyprus with Greece. In Famagusta, news of the advancing Turkish troops forced Greek Cypriots to flee as fighting intensified over the summer. When a UN-brokered ceasefire was declared in August of '74, the Turkish army controlled Varosha. 40 years on, they still do. Varosha is surrounded by barbed wire, a ghost town frozen in time, a hostage to the Cypriot conflict. Ironically, 10 years ago, when the Republic of Cyprus joined the EU, the Greek Cypriot side voted no to the UN peace plan, which would have returned Varosha to them. The Greek Cypriots claimed there were not enough security and property rights guarantees, among others. But now a new initiative to breathe life into Cyprus's ghost town is gaining momentum. This bicommunal plan would return the ghost town to its original owners. It would also pave the way for a new eco-friendly city with hotels and opening the port of Famagusta to international trade. Okan Dagli and Mertkan Hamit are both Turkish Cypriots who launched the initiative 4 years ago. Born and raised here, they say some 73% of Turkish Cypriots support the Famagusta initiative. But why now?
I remember the happy days of that town. When the war started, I was 10 years old. I have so many memories of this city. It was a city full of life, and today's situation makes me so sad. A city without people is not possible. For 40 years we lived in this city, in which there are no people, just a ghost town. This has both psychological and physical negative effects.
I think for the Turkish Cypriot younger generation, we are facing with the consequences of being isolated, living in a divided island with a lot of disadvantaged position. So when we realize that we are facing with obstacles of the status quo, then we are looking for the alternatives. At the moment, Famagusta Initiative gives us a great space to demand for our future, basically, because we know that if we can achieve something in Famagusta, we can achieve in Cyprus as well.
But despite this support, the Cyprus conflict, like Varosha, has trouble burying not only the emotional, but the political scars of the past. Since 1974, and especially after 1983, when the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus was declared, various rounds of negotiations have fallen short of a comprehensive settlement. Nicosia remains the last divided capital of Europe, and nowhere is this more evident than at its defunct airport inside the UN buffer zone, where time has stood still.
Well, this airport was really the site of one of the main battles, the battle for the airport, if you want, in July 1974. So the Turkish forces coming from the north were trying to take what is obviously a strategic asset, this airport, which was heavily defended by the Greek Cypriot National Guard and the Greek army that works with them. And the UN was in the middle. Actually, the Canadian forces were based right here. So once the fighting started, a Canadian colonel at the time, Colonel Beatty, decided to get in between the two forces and raise the white flag, raise the UN flag. And the Security Council was asked to declare the entire airport a UN-protected area, which it still is today.
Since then, the UN has acted as peacekeeper in a buffer zone which stretches 180 kilometres. But the UN also acts as a mediator, a role it has played for over 40 years. And last February, signs of a new momentum to the peace talks happened when Greek and Turkish Cypriot leaders gave a joint declaration at Nicosia airport. Renewed geopolitical interest in Cyprus as a bastion of security in the Middle East, it gave hope that a settlement was in reach. But some worry that the momentum is losing speed. Dinos Lordos is George's father. Before they fled in 1974, the Lordos family owned 4 hotels in Varoshia when the seaside city was considered the Saint-Tropez of Cyprus. Dinos managed to rebuild their lives in the south, but like his son, he blames the politicians on both sides of the island for holding Famagusta and Cyprus hostage.
The Cyprus problem has been suffering in the hands of career politicians who have turned this into a career. And of course it's easier to scare people. Let's not do this because it's dangerous, than to open up the potentials and the possibilities to them that the solution would bring to everybody to share. So we are in fact all of Cyprus, in my opinion, is hostage to the politicians and their careers. And as they are hopping from one election to the next election, they have to up the volume of nationalist sloganeering, and here it goes.
Beyond the fenced-off area lies this hotel. It's a stark reminder of what Varoshia once was. It's hoped that one day soon Cyprus's ghost town will be brought back to life and that both Greek and Turkish Cypriots can walk along these beaches for as far as the eye can see.